This is 5 on your side at 4. Focused on you.
Everybody was like calling 911 and their moms, and we could still hear like the screaming and shooting outside, and it's just scary.
We begin at 4 with breaking news. 4 people are dead, at least 9 hospitalized after a shooting at a Georgia high school. Thanks for being here. I'm Kay Quinn. Police just gave an update in the past 30 minutes. A 14-year-old student at the high school will be charged with murder. Investigators say they opened fire at Appalachia High School, killing 2 students and 2 teachers. Here's NBC's Dan Scheneman.
9:30 a.m. The school day had just started at Appalachia High School near Atlanta when shots were fired.
It was just like a loud boom as if a locker had slammed. So my teacher thought it was just like some kid acting foolish. So then she took a peek outside, and then we heard repeatedly the banging again, and that's when we could identify it was the gun.
Law enforcement swarmed to the scene while students sheltered in their classrooms.
The hard lockdown was placed, and then we ran to the back of the classroom, turned off the lights. I was shaking.
NBC News has learned there are 4 dead, many more injured.
We do have a suspect in custody, and we are asking for your patience as the media to please let us get the facts that we need to make sure we get this right.
After a lockdown was lifted, students were released. Parents and guardians arrived to take students home. Shirley Powers was worried about her grandson.
I feel sorry for the kids that they've had to experience such evil.
Kathleen Hardrick checked on her neighbor, a senior.
Yeah, he actually heard the shooting. He's like, they're shooting right across from my classroom. How does this happen?
Now a school and a community wait for an answer. Dan Scheneman, NBC News.
5 on your side will stay on top of this breaking story. Look for updates on air, online at ksdk.com, and on the 5+ app. Now to a developing story in East St. Louis. Right now, all lanes of Interstate 55 and 64 are closed nearly 4 hours after a fatal crash. Illinois State Police responded to the accident involving a motorcycle and a tractor trailer. It happened around 12:15. The motorcyclist died at the scene. ISP expects the highway to reopen soon. Tonight, a Metro East soccer team is playing for number 5. This in honor of 16-year-old Crawford Bryant of Columbia High School. The sophomore died in a car crash over the weekend. 5 on your side's Justina Coronel is live at the soccer field. She's learned more about tonight's game. Justina, what can you tell us?
Well, Crawford Bryant played varsity soccer, and tonight his teammates are wearing armbands with the number 5 dedicated to him. Now that varsity game will begin at 7, and shortly before they will honor Crawford Bryant. The 16-year-old died just 72 hours ago after a single car crash on Hanover Road. He was with 3 other Columbia High School students. Now tomorrow, classes across the district are canceled for his services. The district is offering shuttle services tomorrow. As of this afternoon, I'm told 200 people had already signed up. Now, besides tonight's match, there's also another game Friday against Waterloo High School.
Friday, we do play Columbia in our traditional Route 3 rivalry football game. Our students are going to be wearing orange and blue instead of the traditional orange and black to show that community support that Waterloo and Columbia, we're here together to support each other through a very difficult time.
Today, also, Waterloo High School had a fundraiser for the impacted families. They wore hats in exchange for a donation. And on Friday, I'm told Columbia High School will be doing the same. Reporting live, Justina Coronel, 5 on your side.
All right, thank you, Justina. New developments in the fatal shooting of a 4-year-old girl in St. Louis. This afternoon, police identified the victim as Harley Hoseen. Investigators say the victim and her 3 siblings were home alone after their mother went to the store. At some point, one of the kids grabbed an easily accessible firearm and shot Harley, who died at a hospital. Police say child abuse detectives have taken over the investigation.
They are in the process now of going through some of the final stages of looking at evidence, going through interviews right now before presenting a finalized case, or at least a case that we have it to this moment, to the Circuit Attorney's Office.
Police say the shooting could have been avoided. The department has readily available gun locks at the 3 patrol precincts and at police headquarters. St. Louis police also gave an update on the deadly crash that killed a woman just north of downtown St. Louis. It happened at Tucker and Cass around 5:15 this morning. Police say the woman was walking in the crosswalk but didn't have the walk light. She's not been identified. The driver is cooperating with investigators. Attorneys in the Marcellus Williams death penalty case must submit all of their filings to the judge by today. Williams is scheduled to be executed September 24th for the 1998 murder of former Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale. During an evidence hearing last week, a DNA expert said Williams' DNA was not on the murder weapon and the evidence was mishandled. But the Missouri Attorney General argued there was no proof of bad faith with regards to the evidence. The judge is expected to announce a ruling later this month. 5 on Your Side has learned the FBI is now investigating the Missouri Central Bus Company for possible hate crimes. Our Diamond Palmer spoke exclusively to 2 former employees about the racism they dealt with at the company.
2 former Missouri Central Bus Company mechanics felt forced to walk away from their jobs after this noose was placed in their workspace back in February.
Because we know from past history, our history of what comes next after we see a noose. You know, they're knocking at the doors, or it's burning crosses on your front lawn, or they hanging people.
Amin Mitchell and Jerry Ellis were the only 2 black mechanics out of dozens of mechanics at the bus company serving St. Louis public schools. And during their time there, they say there was derogatory language used often, racially and sexually.
And I felt that I had something to offer Missouri Central, but they didn't see that, they didn't value that.
No, I was caught off guard. That was the hurtful thing.
After mounting allegations, the 2 say now the FBI is involved in investigating this as a hate crime. But back in March, the St. Louis City branch of the NAACP launched its own investigation into the company. Recent federal data reveals 119 hate crimes happened throughout the state of Missouri in 2022 based on people's race. In fear of safety and retaliation from the bus company, Mitchell never returned back to Missouri Central. But for Ellis, he returned to the bus company only for 2 weeks, but it got worse.
When I went to the fridge to get my medicine, to find old cookies at the door of my refrigerator, my medicine was covered with ants, my refrigerator, my toolbox.
Ellis now works for Metro Transit. But 6 months later, Mitchell is still jobless and believes some companies don't want to hire him because of the allegations.
It was hard for me to trust a company to give me a safe environment.
That was Diamond Palmer reporting. Missouri Central Bus Company released this statement saying, quote, "Following a thorough investigation, we found no evidence of systemic issues within our organization. However, we recognize the gravity of the situation and have taken substantial measures to reinforce our commitment to respect the dignity of every team member." For months, the Fed has been hinting about cutting interest rates, but would that ease the economic pressure on households and businesses? Eckert's in Millstadt is launching into fall, how it's partnering with Stray Rescue to make the corn maze even more special this year.
Oh, and appropriate we would launch into fall as we head towards the weekend, because this weekend it's really going to feel like it. A lot of us will drop into the 40s for lows by Sunday morning. We're back with the changes for the rest of the work week forecast.